How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Mr. Terry, welcome to Money Monday as we're back off of the Preakness weekend. How did your Saturday and Friday at Pimlico go?
Well, Saturday went really good. I didn't bet, but I picked. I had on the show last week. I had said that I liked, National Treasure, and so I have a person that's always asking me for picks. So I give him that one. Plus, he wanted a long shot and whatever horse I liked, and I give him the long shot and the number 7, and 7 ran second. Anyway, he bet 200 to win on that National Treasure, and it paid 780, but kind of scares me a little bit because he's betting a lot of money.
Yeah, I imagine that would be a little bit scary.
Yeah,
just watching that race, watching it, it looked to me like Mage had it, and then it veered in at the stretch, and when it broke its momentum, it never could re-rally again.
Yeah.
That I think was the difference. I don't know why. Maybe the horse was a little tired-legged coming off of the Derby in that short break, because that if it ran a little green in the stretch, which is kind of unusual, I think, right?
Yeah, and that's tough for a horse to run 2 tough races like that with only 2 weeks off. The reason I liked that the horse I liked was one of the reasons. The other one was I didn't see much other speed in there. So.
Yeah, I think we had it as a second pick behind Mage, and then we had the 7 as the third pick in there too. So I had really nice day with the wagering guide on Friday, decent day on Friday, really good day on Saturday. I think we had, I don't know how many, 13, 14 races, the exacta and the trifecta, and something like 10 of them.
Wow.
Either the exacta or the trifecta. Yeah, we had a pretty solid day. So I was even got the Arabian horse race right, which I'm always happy when you get the Arabian race right.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to see if we can get the races right at Bensalem, Pennsylvania today. It should be nice weather. The track is fast. They're going to have a couple turf races today too, which is new at Parx for us. But the turf is firm. So let's get cracking and see if our picks are firm, Terry.
Okay.
Starting in the first race today at Parx with, let me pop it up, a maiden claiming 16 grand race for a purse of 23,000, excuse me. In this scenario, they're going to run around 6 furlongs on the track. 6 furlongs does favor tactical speed. 37%, however, do go wire to wire. And there is an outside to inside bias with the 8 and out getting a little bit of a bonus. Terry, we put together, here's our picks, kind of foreshadowing a little bit there. We put together simulations, 1,000 simulations, where we look at the speed figures to determine what fair odds would be. The lower the sim odds, the better. So just like in betting. And then over here, we also check to see which horses are going to be close to the lead, what percentage they have to have a shot as the front runner once they've run the quarter mile, and the C-zone score, which is exclusive to us. You cannot get that anywhere else. That's the comfort zone based upon where the horse is likely to be positioned after the opening quarter. Are they in a spot where they can mirror some of their best races? The higher the number there, the better. Terry, in race number 1, who do you think? Well, they're all going to go for the lead.
Yeah, they are. But the 1 and the 2 has the most speed. The overlay is the 1. Looks like it's supposed to be a little over even money, and it's 7-2 in the morning line. I think it's a little bit less than even money right now. And then most of these have pretty decent C-zone numbers, except for the 3.
Now, you mentioned the 1 being a little bit less than even money. It is indeed right now the betting favorite at 3-5. But you know what? This race has a bunch of first-time starters and stuff in there, Terry. So I think it's really hard to tell what's going to happen, especially with some of the scratches. Though the 1, when we look at the pace setup, is Alone E. The 2 horse has never been close. That's the only other horse in there. Although on the early pace does show that it did have a little bit more giddy up and go in the limited starts so far than the 1 horse. The 3, the 4, and the 6, they're first-time starters. You don't know what they're going to bring. I know everybody's going to be on that 1 horse, Terry, but yeah, I'm concerned.
I am too. That's why I went in my pick 4. I actually spread across, but I like the 1 Run for Carl, finished 3rd versus Himmler in his last race. Best start speed is fastest among today's starters. The 6 Young Squire, first-time starter, whose dam has 5 winners from 5 starters. So perfect in that asset. And in the way the breeding suits today's distance too. Number 2, Union Rewards, third pick. He finished in the money 3 out of 8 races at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like as my long shot 3, Majestic Lion. He's also a first time starter, and the trainer in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 6 starts, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 5. I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3, and 6. I'm going to single the 3 in the second, I'm going to single the 3. Third race, I'm going to use the 1, 3, 5, and 6. In the fourth race, I'm going to use the 2, 5. And in the fifth race, I'm going to use the 13.
Singling up the 13. Run for Carl was more consistent than the 2 from the first times from the horses with experience. At Parx, 9 times out, 0 wins, 2 seconds, and 4 thirds. So got a feeling this one has a chance to hang. And no way in the world I'd bet a horse at 3 to 5 in this race. Young Squire, the 6 horse, in my opinion, the best works of the first time starters. The 4 horse has the second best. Sacrificial Stone works, again, in my opinion, a little bit better than the 3, in my view. The 2 horse Union Reward did show some early speed last out, as we saw in the pace setup, but regressed. But today it's going to get that jockey, Sophia Vives, who's been just lighting up the track. That also means a weight break, so maybe that speed carries a little longer. And then the 3 horse Majestic Lion is the other first-time starter in there. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the first-time starters, to be honest with you, run 1, 2, 3, Terry. I'm going to go a trifecta 1, 4, 6 over the 1, 6 over the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, which is essentially all on the back end there. Good morning. Based Outdoors. We got first race, the 2 and the 6. Race 2, he likes the 4 and the 6. And in race 3, the 1 and the 6. So there you go. Let's see if you got some picks like Based Outdoors. Share them with us. We always appreciate it. If there's any particular handicapping angles that you like, we like to hear that. If you have any questions, please let us know about that as well. One thing I did notice about Parx, and we've talked about this in the past, is Mondays, for whatever reason, particularly early in the card, you do tend to find that speed holds on. So don't be shocked to see some wire-to-wire winners in the first few races. The second race is 6 furlongs, claiming $15,000 for a purse of 30 grand. We talked about early speed being important at 6 furlongs, Terry. We did mention that there is an outside to inside bias. And again, we look here at our simulations this time around. Again, everybody's got some chance to get the lead, but it looks like there's a few that have a better chance than others.
Yeah, the 5 looks like the most speed, but the 4 may have something to say about that. Just depends on who gets the good break, I think, and no trouble. As far as the overlays, the 2's got a really nice overlay, supposed to be just over 2 to 1 simulated odds, and it's listed at 8 to 1 in morning line. And the 5 has a small overlay, supposed to be 3 to 1 simulated odds, and is listed at 4 to 1 in the morning line. As far as the C zones, the 1 and the 5 have the best C zone numbers. The rest of them look like they may be a little uncomfortable.
So Christopher D'Souza in race number 1, and he wants the 3 to win with a 3-2 exacta box. Charles asking in race 1, why does the 4 get a weight break? So let's go back and look at the conditions in race number 1. It's 3 years old, weight 121. And then the 4 horse, 116 with Adam Bowman. It doesn't really say why that horse would be in there. It is a 3-year-old like everybody else. Born in May. It's actually one of the younger horses in there. It doesn't really show why the horse is getting a break in there. There's nothing in the conditions, so maybe it's a misprint. I don't know, but if it is getting a weight break, that could be a difference maker too for a horse in there. That's a good question. It doesn't say anything. I probably have to go look at the actual condition book to find that one out. In the second race, Terry, as far as our race shape is concerned, you can see most of the horses want to close. You have the 1, 2, and 3, those inside 3 that do have some early speed. So that race shape could advantage the inside 3, particularly if they have the early speed advantage, but they don't. That belongs to Nadude, the 5 horse, and then the 6. Although the 1 does have some ability to keep close. The reality is there's a lot of early speed in here. So if they jump on the gas, any one of them can get to the front. That 3 horse, Eben, does have the strongest late pace numbers, but again, competitive at the end. Looking at the early speed, late speed combination, the 6 and the 2 grade out a little bit better than everybody else. It's like the 1 horse is the only one that's kind of trailing in there. But again, as the lone EP, the pace is right, could could benefit in that respect. Terry, what are your picks for the second race?
I like even the three. I like PC horses. He's won 2 wins in a row, going for a hat trip. Best dirt speed, fastest among today's starters. And the trainer in the last 14 days has been in the money 5 out of 8 starts with 3 wins. I like number 5, Nay Dude. Second pick, he ran second versus similar in his last race. Switches to high percentage winning trainer. Has a high percentage winning jockey. Sailor, again, the 2 is my third pick. Won 2 out of the last 3 races. As a trainer, wins 31% of the races in the first start after claiming a horse. And then BB Bad, the 6 is my long shot. Ran second versus Tougher in her last race. Drops in class today. 4 furlong workout on May 12th. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to single the 3, then go with the 1-5-6, then with the 2-5, and then the 5-9-13 to finish it up.
So Nick says you should have just played all in the opening leg because it would cost $20. But Nick, he has $100 budget, and he probably spent all of it, and that's why he didn't go all in that first leg, right?
Yeah.
So we can't put the signal on for Parx, but what we will do is we will tell you what happens in race number 1 as it's happening. It's about to start right now. So that 4-horse Charles, though, they might need to put a little less weight on him because they really had to struggle to get that guy in the gate. So they're off. And the 3-horse gets off to a slow start. That 4-horse with the weight break just darted to the lead, but I think they're going to might pull that one up because he's just running way up the track. I don't think he has a shot. Yeah, the jockey's really fighting with it. He just stopped him before he jumps over the rail. So that you can knock the 4 out of the race. He got no shot. So the 1-horse is on the lead now as the really awkward race is gone so far at 3-5. The gray, you got the 2, the 3, and the 6, the only other horses that are in this race. The 2-horse is ranging up nicely along with the 6-horse. I think your 6-horse is going to be the winner in here, Terry, when it's all said and done. But I could be wrong about that. The 1-horse is trying to come back on the rail. The question is, can he get it done or not? The 2-horse looks like it has a good stride. Maybe the 2 is going to hang on there, although the jockey really hasn't asked the 6 to do anything yet. And it's going to be the 2-horse, I think, Terry, or the 6. Let's see how that goes. The 6-horse is trying to make some strides late. The 2 looks like it's tiring to me, but he does have a lead. He's maintaining that lead. I think he just got the 2 to switch leads again, though the strides are starting to shorten up a little bit. And it's going to go 6-2 and 1. 6-2 and 1. Yeah, this race was not my favorite, Terry.
No, that's why I went as many horses as I did. So,
Well, the 6-horse was the 5-2 second choice in there, so it beat the 1, which maybe a lot of people singled up in their pick 5s.
That's right. Yeah.
So Barry Knight, I agree with Barry Knight here. 45 people are watching on YouTube. There are more people watching on as well as on the Facebook page. So please give us a thumbs up on Facebook, a thumbs up on YouTube. We should have 45 thumbs up right now. We appreciate that.
Yep.
6-2 exacta. Let's go. Yes, indeed. The 6-2 exacta. Let's go. That's actually what you got there.
Yeah, he had it up above. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful work, Beast. I was not a fan of that race, Terry, nor the 1-horse, but yeah, like I said, you just don't know what you're going to get with all these first-time starters, right?
Nope, you sure don't.
Yeah, 4 didn't turn any. He didn't even go straight, Charles. he just went sideways. I don't know if you remember, like back in the 80s, 90s, those Novas, when they would get out of a line, they would drive down the street sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that race reminded me of one of those old Novas where the car's going down the street sideways. All right, back to race number 2. For me, the 3-horse Eben is the top last race speed figure, but that was all the way back in November, Terry. But that speed number was the biggest one by a long shot. It's a class dropper coming in from Naira. And the April 28th work at Parx says he should like the track. That was a bullet. The George Thoroughbred horse up next, Bad, the 6-horse, going to drop in class today after putting a really nice workout in between races. The 5-horse, Nay Dude, could be the pace setter. We've seen speed hold on Mondays if they can go straight and not go up the track. Finally, number 2, Sailor again is my third choice. Was a tough call over Geraldine for me, the 1-horse, but a much better early pace, late pace score. And trainer Angel Castillo Sanchez wins 5 of 16 horses first off the claim so far at 2023. Pick 4 for me, Terry. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. I'm going to try to beat that 3-horse, who I expect to be a very heavy favorite. I'm going to single up the 6, then I'm going to single the 2, And then I'm going to go 4, 9, 12, and 13 at the end. So a couple of singles in the middle are going to be the linchpins for me, Terry, in my pick fours. Terry singles to 13 and pick 5, but adds 2 other horses in the pick 4. Well, that's a budgetary thing, Jay, is why we do that, right?
Not only is it a budgetary thing, but, I like the 13 the best today. But it's been my experience that even though I like a horse that well, a lot of times something happens. So when I've got it singled in the pick 5 and I go to the pick 4, I want to have a little more coverage in that last leg that I singled.
So you don't get burned on 2 tickets at one. Who won the first race? The 6 won the first race, followed by the 2, Alfonso. And thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. I want to say thank you to Philip Perkins and Tom O'Malley for the thumbs up on Facebook. Unfortunately, they do not tell us on YouTube who is so kind. Pour Dande Las Ven. I'm not sure I know what that means. The first race, 6-2 in the first race, guys. 6-2 and then 1. 6-2-1. So 6-2-1 in race number 1. Into the third race we go, Mr. Terry. In the third race is going to be 7 furlongs. 7 furlongs, the profile of a 7 furlong winner does favor tactical speed. 32% of the horses lead them from gate to wire. There is a very strong inside 3 bias. Post 4 through 7 perform better than 8 and out. We do have a scratch in race number 3, which does impact the early speed. So Road to Dreams might be really happy that popping the champagne Rowe is on the sidelines.
Yeah, that horse got a lot of speed. Should get there first, that quarter pole. As far as the overlays go, you look, there's only one really overlay, and that's the 5. And it's supposed to be almost 12-1. It's listed at 15-1 in the morning line. The 6 has the best C-zone numbers. So
it's better than everybody else if you add them all up, right?
That's right.
And then our pace set up here again, you see the 6 being a lone E. Is it going to get the lead? Well, according to its recency bias, yes, 6 points more than Road to Dreams. So if the 6 can get the lead, should get a lot of courage on front. The 3 horses, the lone P, everybody else kind of closer in terms of how they won. So the 1 horse with some early speed over there could be what we call a left arrow horse, closer with early pace that should put it closer to the front. The late speed belongs to the 5 horse, Misbehaving Lady and Marion Grace. They're up there, but not a whole lot of difference between them and everybody but Escalando. Now, finally, the early speed, late speed combination. You got a 10-point advantage for Marion Grace. Anytime we've talked about this before, you have a 10-point advantage, Terry, especially with the strong C-zone score. That horse looks to me like one that is going to be the one to beat.
Yeah, I didn't see that video of the guy that bet 100,000. I guess he's not feeling too good right now. So anyway, let me go to my picks here. I like in that third race, that 6, Marion Grace. She has a high speed favorite, and her early speed style will help her chances. And she has the best dirt speed among today's starters. Road to Dreams, the 1 is my second pick, has a high percentage winning trainer. The Rail Post is winning at a 23% clip, and they added blinkers today to keep her mind on business. And then number 5, Misbehaving Lady. She has a high percentage winning jockey. I like the 3 as my long shot. Won her last race at Parx Racing. Has a trainer who in the last 14 days has a record of 2 wins and a second out of 6 starts. I'm going to play a 50-cent trifecta 156 with the 156 with the 1356.
I like that 6 horse Marion Grace. I mean, it has that really strong early pace, late pace advantage. The only thing that bothers me is a lot of times when you get these horses that look like they're going to win, they should win. They should do so easily. Somehow they manage to finish second, but also has the strongest C-zone score by a long shot. Road to Dreams, the 1 horse, did show a lot of early speed in its debut. I don't know what happened in that last race. And then there's a decent workout in between races. Hopefully that means the horse can get back to what it showed in its debut. Colette Spirit, the 2 horse, I guess, for me on the next 3 horses, it was really anybody's guess what was going to happen. So I'll go ahead with the only other horse in here that has a good C-zone score. And then 3 horse Escalando was a tough call for me over the 5 horse, but did run a Z pattern last time out where the early pace numbers were better than the prior start, and so were the late pace numbers. So maybe the 3 horse can pull off the upset here, Terry, as you mentioned, as your long shot. I'm going to do a tri-key for $1. The 6, which I think should win this race, over the 1, the 2, and the 3. Probably should have tossed the 5 in there too. if I had a little bit of money left, but I don't know until the end how much I've budgeted, right?
Oh, you have a lot left.
I have a lot left.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what? Since I have a lot left, I'm just going to go ahead and throw that 5 in there.
Okay.
I'll just leave it be, Terry. Why spend money if I don't need to, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Buy stocks. Good luck to everybody today. Thank you. We appreciate that. Buy stocks. Janet, how are you today? It was terrible hombre profits, but he also said it was a sarcasm. No such thing as a lock. Yeah, there is no such thing as a lock in horse racing. Let's see. You're going to go to Hawaii. Beautiful. Watch the claim box at Parx. If it looks too good, it's claimed. Indeed. All right. So race number 4, Terry, you ready for that one?
Yep. Let's go.
Let's go 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. Again, we like to take a look at who typically wins at 1 mile and 70 yards. Tactical speed gets the job done with 30% almost going wire to wire. A little bit of a rail bonus. Post 2 through 7 are fair 8 and out. Get a penalty. All right, Terry. So speed does matter. Tactical speed anyway in the 4th race. Who's got it?
Number 2 has the most speed in this race, although it doesn't show like it's got a lot of speed, but it has the most speed. Should get there first. Overlay is the 1, supposed to be like 5-2, and it's 4-1 on the morning line. And then the 2 has a very small overlay. It's supposed to be just even money, and it's listed at maybe 8-5 on the morning line. As far as the C zones, most of them have good C zones other than the 4.
Yeah, I think the 3 scratching, Catch and Cupid does change the race shape here a lot, because that was another horse that was going to get up and go and put some pressure perhaps on the 2 horse. But here you have a balanced race, the 2, the 4, the 1, and the 5. You got the barbell with the early speed and the closers. Then that 6 horse right there in the middle, Terry, those lone P horses. You always have to be wary of lone P types. Early speed does indeed belong to the 2 horse over the 4 horse by a 9-point advantage. So the 2 horse should be the one pulling the cart when the gates open. So coming down the stretch, predominate the 5 and the 1. The 2 closers do have some of the best numbers, but look out for that 6 horse in there. That lone P probably sits right behind the 2 and then tries to use that little bit of a late pace edge to run by at the end. But the 2 horse does score out 9 points better than everybody else on the early speed, late speed. So wouldn't be shocked to see this race where they run 2-6 in that order all the way around the track. That's the way I have it. You see it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I like the 2 as my first pick. Perfect Silent Cat won his last race at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and Predominate, the 5, is my second choice. Ran second versus Similar in his last race. Has a high percentage winning jockey. Then this 6 is my third pick. He won his last race at Parx Racing and at today's distance, so he likes the distance. I like the 4 is my long shot. Finished third versus Similar in his last race. Has a high last highest race speed rating. Has a jockey who wins 17% of the races in the first start after claiming a horse. I'm going to play a pick 4 here, 50 cent. I'm going to use the 2-5. I'm going to single that 13, and then I'm going to use the 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then finish up with the 1, 2, 4, and 6.
I also like the 2 horse Terry in there. As I mentioned, I think the 2-6 could run 1-2 all the way around the track. Perfect Silent Cat, that strong early pace, late pace advantage over everybody else. The resume says the second up after a layoff, probably going to be better, or at least as good as the first race was. Semper Fidelis Kendrick Camouche coming in to ride this one. Last time he rode it, they actually won. The horse is moving up in class, but when it did square up against Perfect Silent Cat, was pretty well beaten. Number 1, Louis Law Overlay. That's the top C-zone score in this race. Strong rail and does have some late pace to boot and is a little bit of an overlay. Finally, Tuanis. Top last race speed figure for the 4 horse. Maybe better than the 3rd off the bench, and a little bit of a difficult call for me over the 5, Predominate. I'm going to do a pick 4. I'm going to single up the 2 again here, Terry. I have a little bit different view on this next race. You have 1 horse. I got 5. Then I'm going to single the 4, and then I'm going to go 1, 4, 6 at the end. And it'll be interesting to talk about race number 5, why we see things so differently.
Yep.
In the 5th race. Let's go to race number 5 on the screen here, Terry, so we can keep track of where we're at. In the 5th race, this crew is going to travel 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Optional claiming 20,000 for a purse of 34 grand. They have not run any races, Terry, at 7.5 furlongs on the turf to date, so we don't get any bias information, but we still do have our simulations, and the early speed does believe the boats are rocking.
Yeah, that's right. The 13 has lots of speed. I really think that if it can get out of the gate and get no, cleanly, it's going to get that lead.
Hmm.
And then as far as the overlays, the only real overlay I see is the 9, and it's a huge overlay. It's supposed to be like 8-5 simulated odds, and it's listed at 8-1 in the morning line. There are a lot of C-zone horses in here. There's the 9, the 11, 13, 4, and 1. All look like they're going to be pretty comfortable in this race.
So Charles says, Irad loves the Indy track. You know who probably loves the track is Flavian Pratt. Man, he had a really good weekend out there in Maryland, right? I thought he's doing so well, he's going to transfer to Maryland, right?
Yeah, I like the Indian track too. I hit that nice pick, 5, I think, the other day, or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
How's it going, Rex? Yeah, we'll be doing Horseshoe Indianapolis on Wednesday with Charles. So we'll be looking forward to that as Bupa gets back. Have increased purse money. Yes, indeed. They have done pretty well with their purse money. In the 13th race, in the 5th race with that 13 horse in here, Terry, you do see you have a lot of early pace up in here. You got 3 that want to be pilots, a couple that can be pilots or co-pilots. The 4 horse, that one could be dangerous as the lone PC type, sitting behind all the speed, right in front of all of these closers. The thing that concerned me a little bit about the 13, Terry, it does have that early pace advantage over everybody else. But look at all these that are not that far behind, that are to its inside. I think it's going to have to truck to get to the lead, especially with that early turn, which could be make it a little bit difficult. If he can clear, I think he's got a great shot to go wire to wire. The 9 horse Lease does have the most late speed. That's the one you mentioned, Terry, that had the big overlay. And then the early speed, late speed combination, we do see the 13 with an 8-point advantage over everybody else. Again, my concern in this race for that 13 is that outside draw with plenty of other horses that have some pace that could force him wide into that first turn. And then essentially the race would be over in my view.
Yeah, that's true. It's can be like that, but I'm hoping that he's going to get out of there right like he should, like a shoot out there like a rocket. Boats a rocking like a rocket. He finished 3rd versus Tougher in his last race. He drops in class today. Best hurt speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a good workout on May 11th. Number 9, Lease, is my second choice. Finished 2nd in his last race, only losing by a neck. Has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 22% of the races when he takes a horse from a route to a sprint, and he has a good 4 furlong workout on May 12th. 5, Strike Me Down is my 3rd pick. Finished 3rd versus Similar in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer. Then I like 11, Cardio Cat. He finished 3rd versus Similar on the dirt in his last race. Switches a high percentage winning trainer, wins 25% of the races when taking a horse from a route to a sprint. I'm going to bet 10 to win on the 13.
So we got a bunch of different opinions here as well, Terry, on this race. You got Charles saying his best value bet of the day is Celtic Treasure. And Christopher D'Souza checking in with the 3 horse, Angelus Warrior, with that strong late pace as his choice in there to win. I'm looking at the 13 horse too, Terry. Again, my concern is that outside speed does have a pretty aggressive early pace edge, although, as I mentioned, there's speed to its inside. The question is, does the horse get to the lead and clear? If it doesn't, the race could be over. But I do like that really strong C-zone. I do like the strong lead combination. Again, when horses get 2 out of 3 over here, they usually, when you look in our simulations, if they score well on 2 out of 3, they usually run well as well. The 9 horse is another horse that has another 2 out of 3 combo, is the top overlay with the strongest C-zone score in there. At Parx on the grass a quartet of times, a 2 wins, 2 seconds. I think the horse runs a similar race today as it ran in the first off the bench. Last time out, just missed by a neck at Gulfstream Park, so a track drop. But again, it has run successfully at Parx to date. The 12 horse, the King Cheek, you got Ruben Silvera and Jamie Ness. Never can overlook that combination. The lone trip on the grass didn't go that well, but the off-track record of 9 times out, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third says he should like the grass and does have a very strong bullet workout. The last one, right before coming to the track, a bullet and go at Laurel, 4 furlongs in 47-2. That horse is going to come out of the gates flying. I think it's going to make it really tough for the 13 to clear. It could be tough for the 12 to clear too. And then finally, the 4 horse, tough tickets in what I think is a wide open race. Tough call over the 5 for me, But we are getting fair value on the 4-horse, basically, based upon our simulation. Strong C-zone score. And last race, it showed signs of waking up with much better numbers across the board when we look at its internal pace numbers. I'm going to do a trifecta 9, 12, 13 over the 9, 13 over the 4, 5, 9, 12, and 13 in a race that I think you're going to find a lot of value and maybe a long shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Charles is hoping for 75-1 on that 1-horse in race 5. I hope you get it, and I hope it comes home and wins, right? Look out for the 4 in race number 5. I agree with you on that, Christopher D'Souza, too. Race 5, he's got the 3-4 exacta box.
He also likes to play, it looks like 80 to win on the 3.
He's got 80 to win on the 3. That's a pretty good number right there. 80 to win place and show. Oh, no, 80. That's 80 on the late pace numbers.
Oh, all right.
I don't think he's putting $80 on there.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, he's going to wish he put 80 on it if it wins, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's always the hindsight being perfect in everything in life. In the 6th race, hopefully we can have some foresight and be perfect on this one at 6 furlongs. Optional claiming 20 grand for a purse of 34. Again, we talked about 6 furlongs, tactical speed, Terry, outside to inside bias. A little more than a third of the horses go wire to wire. And in this race, again, everybody but the 3 has some chance to get the lead, although she's super fire. She's a super freak. Oh, James. I forget the guy's name right now, but go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, and that looks like the most speed, and it's got the benefit of that rail too. So, but I'm wondering who's really going to get there first. You just don't know. The 2 has a really nice overlay, supposed to be a little over like 6 to 5, and he's listed at 9 to 2 in the morning line. And the 4 is a nice one too. It's supposed to be 2 to 1 simulated odds, and he's 5 to 1 in the morning line. As far as the C-zones, the 6, the 1, and the 3. The 6 doesn't have, does it?
Well, yeah, the 6 has a good
season.
I'm sorry. 6, the 1, 5, 6. Yep.
Yeah, 6, 1, and 3. I looked at the wrong column for a minute.
Sure. Right. So she's a super freak. That's a Rick James song, right? Way back in the day.
That's right.
Yes, indeed, Charles. Thank you. It escaped me for a moment there. As our good friend Jay Marco said, the first thing to go is this. And I guess mine's showing signs of being the first thing to go when it comes to remembering stuff. Our pace setup for this 6th race here, we do see the 1-horse, Rick James. She's a super freak. She's super freaky. That one does have the early speed advantage over everybody else. 5-point advantage over Cause I Said. I guess that's a Ric Flair reference right there, huh? But everybody except the 5 and the 3 has some early pace. So we got a couple of left arrow horses in there that could involve themselves, that usually like to be a little bit farther off the pace. As they're coming home, Broad Jumper, one of those closers, has a 6-point late advantage over Cause I Said. So Cause I Said showing up twice already, Terry. So maybe it's going to be the top EP LP horse. Indeed it is. Cause I Said could be one that you want to put your picks on. Cause I Said. What do you think?
Well, I like in this race the number 5, Terrace Talent. She drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer, and switches to high percentage winning jockey. Boscara, the 6-horse who won her last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer. And I like the 3 as my 3rd pick, Broad Jumper. She finished in the money in 7 out of her last 8 starts, winning 3 of those races. Very consistent girl. And then number 4, Nurturing, is my long shot. Finished 3rd versus similar in her last race. She can improve while returning to a sprint, and she has the highest speed figure at today's distance. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick trifecta, 3-5-6 with the 3-5-6 with the 3-4-5-6.
Interesting. 6 horses in this race, Terry. Between the 2 of us, we have all of them. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So one of us is going to be right. Hopefully we can both be right.
That's right.
I like the 4-horse Nurturing as my top choice in here. Cuts back from a mile to 6 furlongs after showing some speed in the first race. Should be better in round 2 off the bench, but at that 6 furlong number, the horses run 4 times, got 3 wins and a 3rd. The last time it cut back, I remember it came back and won. Number 2, Cause I Said, top last race speed figure with Paco on board. Did run a peak number last time out, which the horse does tend to regress. But if Paco's on there, you know he's going to ride aggressively, give that horse a shot to win. If you watch Paco closely, too, I mean, you know, they were talking about, I saw some talk about Irad and some aggressive riding and how they're not really doing any of this stuff online on the weekend, like the stewards aren't putting it in. I've seen Paco a couple of times, and they come out of the turn. If he doesn't have space, he'll just kind of nudge the horse to its outside, out of the way a little bit to create a lane for himself. So keep an eye on that today.
Yeah.
She's a super freak. Gets Jamie Ness and Ruben Silvera, who are super freaky at winning at Parx. Third off the bench. So usually this horse does a little bit better third off the break and has some strong early pace. Could be the lone E-horse if it can get out to the front, gets more confidence, and does have a strong C-zone score. In fact, the best in the class here. And Boss Cara, that one, Boss Cara has the top C-zone score. And the last race was even better than it looks with the win, with early fractions being much faster through the first half mile. I'm going to bet that 4-horse on that cutback as a single on the top of a trifecta key, Terry, over the 1, 2, and 6. Hoping to catch a nice price with that 4-horse and then a nice trifecta. Yes, Paco is always good. Thanks for the switching your pick, Rich. Easier for the old timer. Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember that at the last second, Rich. So again, we joke about the last thing to go. It kind of clicked in there in the middle. Race 6, Christopher D'Souza likes the 3-2 exacta box with the closer. And then Charles Paco, always good a bet at the trial. Yeah, Paco. You remember those? I know you've been around as long as I've been around, Charles. Maybe you're a little bit younger. I don't know. Maybe a little bit older, mid-50s for me. But Paco reminds me, if you remember those old Life commercials where they would say, Mikey, give it to Mikey. Mikey likes everything.
Yeah.
Yes. To me, Paco is that guy. Give it, send Paco to any track. He likes anything.
Yeah.
All right. So how long we got to race number 2?
2 minutes.
We got 2. Well, we have 1 minute on my computer screen. It does look like they're not to the gate yet. So let's try to power through race number 7, Terry.
All right.
I don't know if we can get it done in a minute, but we can at least get it set up, right?
That's right.
In the 7th spot, 6.5 furlongs for the first time today, I believe. This is where they go from tactical speed to early speed. 34% go wire to wire. There is, again, an inside 3 bias. So the 1, 2, and 3 should outperform their odds, maybe. Small discount, post 4 through 7. 8 and out returns to fair. And in the 7th spot, Terry, as far as early speed is concerned, you got the 3 and the 4 going to duke it out.
That's right. But I think the 3 has the most speed and everything's clean when they come out of there, probably make it their first. The 1 has a overlay, a pretty nice one. Supposed to be a little over even money. It's listed at 7-2 on the morning line. The simulated odds on the 3 is, let's see, just a little bit over like 7-2. It's supposed to be 6-1 on the morning line. And the 4 has a small overlay. So as far as the C zones, the 5 and the 4 have the greatest looking C zones.
Yeah, by a long shot in there too. Real quick in the 7th race, because they're loading up right now. 4 and the 3 look like they have an early pace advantage over a lot of closers in there. If you look at the early speed, it does belong to the 4 and the 3. Those 2 can get out to the front, maybe make it a difficult race for everybody to catch up. But the 6 does have the best early speed, late speed combination over the 4-horse in here, Terry. So that closer with some early pace, maybe moves a little bit forward, maybe sits 3rd or 4th as they try to come out of that turn. All right, let's go back to race number 2, where they're really fighting with the 3-horse to get it into the gates, Terry. He don't want to race today.
Doesn't sound like it, does it?
No, he is. He's putting up a fight. I don't know. I saw this interesting thing I think it was on Twitter yesterday, where they had like these really like buff guys, guys who are definitely hitting the weight room and making sure they get their amino acids and all of their creatine, because they were jacked, like 4 of them, maybe 3 of them. And they had this really thick rope, and it looked like that they were doing a tug of war, with some other people.
Yeah.
And on the other end, in a cage, they had like a little lion, a tiger. It was a little lion, a female lion with the rope. You know how dogs like to play that game with a rope, with the pool game?
Mm-hmm.
This one tiger was holding the rope in its mouth, and how they pull him back. And those guys couldn't budge it. They couldn't move it an inch.
Wow.
It's pretty interesting.
Sounds funny.
Yeah. So they have it all in. All the horses are in now for the second race. Race number 2. I got the wrong up here. All right. So race number 2, the 3-horse, the one you and I both liked. They really had to fight to get that guy in there. Let's see if it's ready to run.
I thought it was the 5 they had a problem getting in there.
It looked to me like the 1 and 2 were in, and the empty space was next. But man, they're trucking right now. The only one that's not trying to get the lead is the 2-horse in here, Sailor again. Everybody else is fighting up front. you got to think that the outside horses are going to struggle because they're going to go wide around the track. The 3-horse has nosed its way out to the lead, but the 4-horse is sitting right there off its side as they go through the turn here. They come into the opening quarter in 22-3. Everybody's been under a lot of pressure here, so it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Now you have the 3 and the 4 continuing to be on the lead. The 4-horse looks like it wants to get involved with the 3. Nobody's really coming hard at the end here. It looks like the 5-horse is trying to make some strides as the 3-horse does kind of pull away a little bit. The 3-horse has a pretty good shot here to take this one from wire to wire. Looking behind him, Jockey certainly thinks, and Jaime Torres, that he's got this one locked up. Looks to me like he probably does. Unfortunately, I did a pick 4 where I tried to beat the 3-horse at 7-5, but didn't have a shot to do so. As they come down the stretch, 3-horse is your easy winner. It's going to go 3, easy winner, over the 1, over the 6, 3, 1, 6, and then 4. 3, 1, 6, and 4 is your order in race number 2. Should have did like you, Terry, and just singled at 3.
Yeah, and I singled in my pick 5 too, so I'm looking good there. So,
all right, so here we go off to race number 7, the second half of what we got cooking there. Race 7, Christopher says, win, place, show on the 5. Blair Thomas likes the 3, 4, and 6. I think that's in race number 7 as well. Terry, we went through the setup for race number 7, so now let's go through our picks.
Yeah, I like the 1, Sundria. She finished in the money in her 3 career races so far, winning one of those starts. And the Rail Post is winning a 19% clip. She switches to high percentage winning jockey. Number 6, Broadway Charlie Rose is my second pick. She finished in the money in 5 out of 7 career starts. She won one of those races, has the highest last speed rating. And then number 4, On This Harvest Moon's my third pick. She likes the distance, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Number 2, Kisses for Emily. She has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 1, 4, 6 with the 1, 2, with the 3, 9, and then I'm going to finish up with the 1, 5, 6, 7, 10.
Yeah, that a couple of races in here, I feel like anything goes, which made it really difficult for me to put together a pick 4. I'm going to go with On This Harvest Moon as my top choice, that 4-horse in there. Third after a layoff. Last time out, the early pace numbers were better than the prior start, although the fractions were a little slower. So that's a bit interesting to me. Does have the best combination of simulation numbers with a good C-zone score, good shot to get on the lead, and a little bit of an overlay for that 4-horse. So instead of being 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. Sundria, the 1-horse, a little bit better early speed numbers last time out as well. But another one that showed some slower fractions, kind of interesting, strong simulation overlay there as well. Broadway Charlie Rose, second after a layoff, strong early pace numbers again. So you got a lot of horses that showed improvement in the first half mile last time out. So all of them could be on the upswing, and it could be better. And today as well in the second off a layoff. And finally, Chronology, the 3-horse, is the lone P-horse that we saw in the pace worksheet, but could indeed prove to be the pace setter according to the simulation odds but that last race, yeah, that was pretty terrible if you look at it. So horse is going to have to improve a lot. Trifecta for me, 1, 4, 6 over the 1, 4 with the 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I feel like just like every horse in this race, because when you look at some of the pace numbers and then you look at slower fractions, a lot of horses, and then you like the 3-horse with that just awful race last time out. A lot of holes in this race for horses to fill and questions to answer. Race number 8 in the 10 race card. We go back to 6 furlongs. Terry, tactical speed, outside, inside bias is the best way to look at the post positions. Terry, in the 8th race, we have some view on who's going to have the lead.
Yeah, it looks like to me like this 8 or 1 or the 5 will have the lead. The 8 has the most speed, but the other 2 are pretty close. The only overlay is a little small overlay on the 1. It's supposed to be like 7-2. It's listed 4-1 on the morning line. And most of these horses have pretty decent C-zone numbers, except for, let's see, the 3 and the 4. So
going back to race number 7 for Charles, he likes the 1-horse to come from off the pace here. So keep an eye on that 1-horse, Sundria, with the 7-2 morning line, and looks more like a 6-5 fair value. So if you get over 6-5 odds could be a good bet for that one to come home as a value play. In the 8th race, Mr. Terry, you look at this pace setup. You have 7 horses in the field, of which 4 of them want to be pilots or co-pilots. It could be a little dangerous for the early speed, so you better be the speed of the speed. That belongs to the 1 horse, Midnight in Alaska. Although the PC type in here, Flashing Diamond, could be in a really good striking position, right behind all the speed. Doesn't need to be the leader, not lead dependent. When they come home down the stretch, Lady Zeta, speed horse that does have the most late speed. So if the 5 gets up onto the front, could hold on with that late legs, except the 1, 4, and 8. Everybody's pretty similar in terms of their ability at the end. The early speed, late speed combination, pretty close race, except for the 3 and the 4, the lone closer back there. Be pretty interesting to see what happens in this race, Terry. What do you think will happen in the 8th race? Again, another race where I think there's so many different possible combinations.
Yeah, that's right. I like the 1 Midnight in Alaska. She won her last 2 races in a row, and she's going for a hat trick. And she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Mia Tosca is my second pick, number 2. She won her last race, Parx Racing. She also has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Flashing Diamond, the one you were talking about, the 8, finished in the money in 8 out of her last 9 starts and won 3 of those, so very competitive. The 4 is my long shot, has won 2 out of 4 career races, drops in class today, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to play a $1 daily double. I'm going to use the 1, and then I'm going to use the 3, 9 in the second leg.
So Christopher D'Souza shares with us 2 best bets for the day, one of which is in race number 8, Lady Zeta, the 5 horse there, and then race number 10, Beyond Best. I'm not sure what number Beyond Best is. Let's look over here. Beyond Best being the 2 horses scratched, unfortunately, in that race, Christopher. I think it scratched late, though. I mean, it wasn't scratched at the first wave of scratches, but then moved on. Race number 4, Alberto Chacon likes the 4 and the 2. And then in the 5th race, Alberto going with the 13, Terry's horse right there as a single in his bets. Alberto in race number 6 likes the 2, and in race number 7, the 6 and the 1 horse. In the 8th race, Mr. Terry, we just went through. Did you go through your picks right? You went through your picks.
Did, yes.
So I just wanted to make sure I didn't rewind back there.
Nope, you need to go through yours.
I got Midnight in Alaska as the top choice in here. Top last race speed figure. And when you look at the internal numbers, this horse has brilliant early speed and mid-pace numbers. Crushed in 2 of its 3 races since coming from Gulfstream Park to Parx. The only one that didn't do well was in that first trip across the track. Vendero, the 4 horse, significant class drop for that one. Steady work since April the 1st. And Paco's on board. So if this one's ready, that class drop should be enough to make it competitive. Flashing Diamond, 3rd after a layoff. Charles's favorite angle. Has a bullet workout in between races. I like to see that. That means the horse is definitely making strides in its shape. Usually makes a blistering mid-move too. So there's going to be a lot of pace coming out of the turn with this race. And Mia Tosca, the 2 horse, undefeated in 3 races at the distance and at Parx, 8 times out, 3 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, with those 3 wins being at today's distance. 3rd after a layoff. Again, another race that I feel like any of those 4 horses can probably win, and even ones that we didn't talk about probably have a shot to win here, Terry, which is why it was hard for me to do a pick 4. I got the 1-4 over the 1-4-8 over the 1-2, 4, 5, and 8. 2 races to go, which means this next one is going to be the 9th race, Terry. We're going to go 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. Again, tactical speed with 30% roughly going wire to wire. A little bit of a rail bonus. Post 2 through 7 play fair. And if you wear the 8 and out, you get dinged a little bit, Terry. In the 9th race, if we take a look at our pace, our simulations, got a bunch of scratches in here, taking out some early speed, but I don't really think it's going to impact the early part of the race because everybody has a shot.
Yeah, they all have a little bit of speed, but there's not much speed with any of them, really. The 8 and 9 have the most speed, according to our simulation there. And then in overlays, that 3 horse has a small overlay, which is supposed to be almost 4-1. It's listed at 9-2. The 10 has a really nice large overlay, supposed to be close to like 8-5, and it's listed at 10-1 on the morning line. And then a lot of these horses have pretty good C-zone numbers. The 2, 8, 9, and 10 do. But then look there, that 3, 4, and 5, they have really poor ones.
Yeah, they're gonna have a little bit of a stress test today on that trio right there, and I hope that one of them passes the stress test in there. In the race number 9, our pace setup, you got most everybody wants to be middle back. The 5 horse in here, Simovich, could be the lone E horse, although the 2, the 3, the 8, and the 9, they're PC types. So that means I should just change that to V, to versatile. Can be anywhere on the track more often than not. The 9 horse, actually one of those PC types, does grade out as the horse with the most early speed, along with the 3 horse Irish Cork. So Simovich could get discouraged if it does not get the lead. A lot of times you see that with early speed types. Late speed belongs to Cork, one of the top early pace horses in there with a 99. That's a pretty good score. Prince of Rain, that overlay, Terry, one of the closers, does indeed have some late ability. The combination score belongs to Irish Cork, although the 10, the 9, they're right there. And there's a pretty good drop off then to Simovich. So I wouldn't be shocked at all to see the winner come out of the 3, the 10, or the 9. That's basically what I have, and pretty much what you got too.
Yeah, I like the 9 Nimitz class, my first pick. She won 4 races in a row, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer. Irish Cork, the 3, is my second pick, has won 2 races in a row, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 5's, I can't pronounce that anyway.
Simovich. We'll go with Simovich.
Simovich, okay. He has finished in the money in his last 3 races. He won one of those. He's winning one of the races at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then the 1 or the 10 horse Prince of Rain, he was only beaten a length last start and will improve with the route, I think. I'm going to bet $2 to win on the 9 because that's all I have left.
So race number 10, Alberto chimes in coming up in a minute with the 4, the 2, 14, and the 2. What's not 14 in there? The 4, the 2, and the 1. I don't think there's a 14. Well, we'll get to race number 10 in a minute.
The 14 is scratched.
Daily double for Christopher here with the 3 in this race, with the 4 and 8 in the upcoming race. I'm going to start with the 3 horse here, Terry. In here, this Irish Cork did run the top last race speed figure. Does have a couple of triple-digit speed figures in a row. Paco, if Paco's on board, they think the horse has a shot. The thing that concerns me about the 3 horse a little bit is its second up record is a little bit shaky. Sometimes does better, sometimes regresses a lot. So I don't know which version you'll get today. Hopefully we get the one that does better. Nimitz class, the 9 horse, winner of 4 races in a row. Terry, crazy good early pace numbers through the first half mile of last time out, and a big fan of running at this distance. 4 times, won 3 of them off the board in the other. Prince of Rain drops from a $100,000 non-graded stakes race, and in that race was 4th, but only missed by a length. So I think you can see a little bit of improvement on the class drop here. And I also like the fact that the horse has a nice maintenance workout in between races, so should continue to be sharp. Simovich could be the lone E and gets courageous if it has the lead, especially if he takes it into the stretch. And if he does indeed get to the front, stay in the front, they could have a hard time running him down. 3, 9, 10 over to 3, 9. Over to 2, 3, 5, 9, 10 is the exact trifecta bet for me. And then the last race of the day is race number 10. They're going to run this one 1 mile and 70 yards on the turf course, Terry. Much like the 7.5 furlong race, they haven't run any yet on the turf course. So we don't know what to expect from the bias standpoint. He's got a couple of J. Marco in race number 10. You like in race number 9, the 9, 3, and 10, Jay? Is that race number 9 or race number 10? Race number 9. And Photo Finish Tipster. How you doing, Photo? Nice to meet you, my man. Thanks for joining us today, chiming in the comments. We appreciate it. If you like what you see, like J. Marco, Ray Lewis, Almazar Reyes, Carlos Tapia, Philip Perkins, and Tom O'Malley, again, we can only see the thumbs up on Facebook. Who did it? We appreciate them. Please give us a thumbs up on YouTube as well. Helps us with their algorithms. And then also, if you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube and the bell. So no matter what content we bring out, you are notified when we're about to go live. Hi, mate. So I'm guessing you are from Australia. Is that a good guess or a bad guess? Let me know. All right, Terry, 1 mile and 70 yards on the turf. We don't know what type of bias works, but we do know that Ninja Prize is likely to be the pace setter.
That's right. Has plenty of speed. but the 7 may have a little bit to say about it. The 5 has a really large overlay. It's supposed to be 2-1. It's listed at 6-1 in the morning line. Most of these have pretty decent C-zone numbers, as you see.
Yes, again, if you're new here, it's a C-zone. We take a look at the early pace and where the horse is going to be located relative to the pace setters, and will it be in a position that will mirror some of its better races. Finally, the last time of the day, we're going to look at the pace setup to get a sense of how this race might lay out. I think the 15 is not in the race anymore, so we don't have to worry about that one. But this one's a perfectly balanced race, pretty much 4 in the front, 3 in the middle, 4 in the back. She's probably going to set up for the horse that gets the best trip. Early speed-wise, there's plenty of it in here that are going to jump for the lead. So you could see a pretty aggressive early quarter fractions in there. Late speed belongs to the 3 and the 4, but again, pretty competitive, though they have a good advantage over the rest of the crew. So if late speed's the way, look out for the 3 or 4. That 5-horse Tough Constitution, along with the Ninja Prize and Jackson Road, and wow, that whole like 5 or 6 of them up there, very tightly bunched. A little bit of a break then to the 4-horse Deplane. So again, I wouldn't be surprised to see the 5, the 9, the 13, the 3, or the 6 produce the winner, Terry. But again, this race to me is just one that anything can happen, which is what really scared me off doing the pick 4. I think I'm supposed to do a trifecta here too, Terry, that I didn't put in. So I'm going to put it in now.
All right, go ahead. And yeah, this is a really wide open race. That's why I spread as much as I could in my pick 4. The 6 is my first pick, finished 3rd versus similar on the dirt in his last race and has a good 4th furlong workout. May 12th, the 5 Tough Constitution is my second pick, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and a good workout on May 16th. Number 7, Not Normal. He won his last race at Parx Racing, and the breeding suggests he'll like the grass, as his dam has produced 1 turf winner. And then number 1 is my long shot. Has a perfect record at Parx Racing, winning 1 out of 1 start here, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I have no more money left, so no bet for me here.
Tough Constitution. When you look at this horse workout pattern, looking ready for his first race since December, bullet. This horse is sharp and ready to go. Does have the top pedigree for turf score by a pretty good margin. And if you look back in its previous races, was running at a much higher level than this. If this horse is ready to go, as its bullet workout suggests, could be your winner. 13, Jackson Road. There's always a reason a trainer wants to get into a particular race. This wasn't also eligible. They got in. This one debuted on the grass at 5 furlongs. It closed with a big rush. And then the horse tried to go on to dirt. Didn't do so well, except on the slop where it won. So trainer Kathleen DeMasi must think that this is a turf horse. Again, to me, an indication of a horse that might like turf is the all-weather or off dirt. Seems to translate more often than not. Shipkels, is that right? What is it?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I didn't try to
Feichels, maybe? Feichels? Maybe, I don't know. Feichels just missed on the Parx grass in its debut. If Paco was on this horse, you got to think they has a chance. And then finally, number 1, Hoku was a beaten favorite last time out. That was at Keeneland. And prior to that, I'd been running at Gulfstream, I think at Tampa Bay. So a total track dropper with Hoku. Again, I had a little bit of money, so I'm going to go 5, 6, 13 over to 5, 6, 13 for the 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 6, 13 to close out my trifecta for the day. And that wraps it up, Terry. And I think the back half of this card is crazy wide open. Here are all of our picks for the day, Terry. Any final thoughts before we get out of here today?
Yeah, if you like what you saw today, please subscribe on YouTube and hit the little bell so you get notification on any of our shows that we have. We have so many different ones almost every day of the week. Give us a like and a thumbs up there, if you will, please. Go to our social sites like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and give us thumbs ups and likes there, because that just helps us out with the algorithms. And then tell your friends, relatives, neighbors, everybody to take a look at us and see what they think.
Yes, indeed. And then tonight, make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern for our good friend Sean, Swiss Army Sean. He'll be joined tonight by Jamie Martinez, and our guest will be Greg Sacco and his assistant son, Will Sacco, as trainers. So make sure you tune in for that. Again, 8 o'clock. The best way to make sure you don't miss any of our programming, as Terry mentioned, is hit that like button. Also today, if you're going to bet at Prairie Meadows, it is the free track of the day over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There's a link down in the description below. Kindly click on that so they know where you're coming from. And in the first race, who knew is going to be a best bet of the day. Again, you'll find that down in the description below. We're going to bet a little baseball today, Terry. Of course, our good friend, Professor Sides, over at Picks by the Professor. He's got you covered with his statistics degree and his statistics knowledge, trying to find an edge in baseball. So make sure you tune in for that. Again, pickswiththeprofessor.com. You can find that also on YouTube. He has a YouTube show where he goes over his picks. You and I will be back again tomorrow, Terry, same time to cover Parx on Terrific Terry Tuesday. Until we meet again, folks, we certainly hope that you do benefit from God's grace and that no matter what you do today, tomorrow, or any day, ends up in one place, and that can only be our good friend, Jay Marco's
Winner Circle.
Indeed. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.